Hey, what's going on everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Okay, so it's going to be another video about avoidance. I do want to say something right away. I wanted to make something really clear if I didn't in the past because I think it's important. Dealing with avoidance is a really difficult thing to do, and I mean really difficult. I do not recommend getting in relationships with an avoidant unless you're already in one, because once you're in, it's almost like you can't get out. So I don't want you to think that, oh yeah, dealing with avoidance is fine. It's okay. I think the emphasis I was trying to say, and this is not really what the video is about, but I think what I was saying is a lot of people will think, oh, avoidants are narcissists. They are not. In fact, they're at the other end of the scale. Or the other end of the spectrum, meaning they have a heart. They have a very sensitive heart, really sensitive. It's just that the way they were raised, the way they look at love and intimacy, it's literally, watch this. It's a really diabolical thing, and I do not mean this in a mean or disrespectful way at all. Alright, one of the things that other avoidants will tell you, people that are avoidants that are making YouTube channels, will say the way that you know an avoidant had a good time with you, like when you went on a date and they really enjoyed it, is they won't call you for a week or more. So if they really liked the interaction, they laughed a lot, they had a really good time, all of a sudden they'll disappear and you're like, wait, what happened? Because your brain, okay, this is the point about the diabolical part. And again, it's not disrespectful. It's just that to someone who is not avoidant, your brain just goes, wait, what happened? I mean, they even sent me a text message the next day saying how much they enjoyed the evening, how much they laughed, and how they're looking forward to the next meeting, etc. And yet, boom, you don't hear from them for, could be 8 days, could be 10 days, could be 6 days. It's a really, it's like, wait, so they enjoyed themselves so much that they're avoiding. Yeah, because what happened is they opened up to you on some level intimately. It's almost as if like they let their guard down while they were with you. That's how much fun they were having. And then when they got back home, they're like, oh shit, what did I do? And then they put the shield back up. So it's like they're pulling the rug out from underneath you. It's like, wait, we had a great time, and they said, hey, and they even text you or message you saying I had a great time, looking forward to seeing you again, and then you don't hear from them for a week, and you're just like, well, did I do something wrong? Like they were laughing, they even said they had a good time, they hugged me goodbye, and so here's another one. Another one is this. They'll tell you the way you know that avoidant is opening up to you intimately, the way that you know avoidant loves you or really likes you, is they'll avoid you. So being with an avoidant is it can be, if you are a kinesthetic deep love strategy. Kinesthetic means you need to be hugged and held and hold hands. And if you are an emotionally based person, it's going to be a really painful experience for you. Whereas if you're a dissociated, disconnected person, it might work out really well. Like if you're like, yeah, I don't like to be hugged, I don't like, affection, you don't like to be intimate with someone. An avoidant might be the person, like you might be the person who's like, yeah, you want to get together for sex, but then not see the person for like a week. Like that might actually work for you. And I'm not being sarcastic. It's just that this is, what I'm trying to say is, even though they're not narcissists and they're on the other end of the scale, there's a very painful experience to be had if you're not ready for it. Even if you're ready for it, it's probably going to be painful. Now here's the interesting thing. I just realized what I just left. That's kind of a prelude to what tonight's video is about. Okay, so a lot of you, again, probably a majority of people on this channel, you got to this channel in the last 5 years because of narcissist abuse, right? And you learn the red flags, and narcissists will gaslight you, they'll breadcrumb you, they'll love bomb you. What's another one? Like, so all the stuff that you learn, like, oh shit, here it comes. So you start to see it faster, right? By the way, the music's going to go down in about 5 seconds. So you start seeing the narcissist red flags, and here's the deal. You're not supposed to be like this perfect, oh, narcissist, not narcissist, that's not you're supposed to just be able to pick up the red flags a lot faster versus 10 years or 2 years or whatever. The idea is to be able to pick up on it in a matter of, hours or days or even weeks. And be like, oh, I'm dealing with someone who gaslights and someone who does this, and they're prideful and they're egotistical and, just all the stuff that narcissists are, right? 50 degrees right now. Now, here's the interesting thing. So, have you heard of people that will say, they'll defend narcissists and say, hey, you don't understand. These people are abused in childhood. And that is always confused the hell out of me. Like, what are you talking about? No, they weren't. They are called the golden child because they are treated like a little king or queen, like a little god. They're not abused. What are you smoking? So every single narcissist that makes videos on YouTube to help us out, supposedly, it's really to get their ego stroked, but whatever, they give good information. They're like, oh yeah, the narcissist is the golden child. They're the favored child. They're the child that's treated very well. It's the empath that's treated like crap by the narcissistic parents, and they're beaten and just verbally, physically tortured and abused and mentally abused and mind games up the wazoo. And the narcissist is, oh, well, they're even taught how to abuse the empath, and they're the golden child. So when I hear people say, oh, the narcissist was so abused, I'm like, wait, this makes absolutely no sense at all. I had a friend years ago who I stopped talking to 5 years ago because I realized, like, oh, he's a narcissist. And he even told me, yeah, well, didn't I tell you? I'm like, no. He was diagnosed as a narcissist, and he goes, oh, I thought I told you. Like, no, you didn't say anything about that. But at this point in time, I was making videos about it, and he realized I was going to catch on pretty damn fast, because I'm like watching this guy going, wait a minute, what, did I miss all this stuff? Here's my point. One of his children was the golden child. I mean, it was obvious. Like, every single person that came over was like, oh, I see this child's treated very, very well, and the other child is just like picked apart and beaten down verbally and emotionally, and it was night and day difference. One was the empath, one was the golden child, beyond a shadow of a doubt. And so my point being is, like, what are you talking about? And then so this golden child later on is going to whine and complain, oh, my childhood was so horrible, I was the golden child. Like, what? So a narcissist may, get some kind of abuse, but it's something like 3 to 5%. It's very little in comparison, and especially the intensity of it is very, very low in comparison to what the empathic child receives. Okay, so it's very little, but you will hear narcissists complain. Like, okay, about 3 years ago, I had a couple narcissists call me. One of them, there's a certain name that he was called. I think it's like the sensitive narcissist. I can't remember the word right now. But he had flat out told me, like, oh, well, this happened and that happened. I'm like, that's it? Well, what do you mean? I'm like, and so I went on for an hour about some of the stuff that happened to me, and he's like, oh my God. And I'm like, oh, that's literally not even 1% of 1%. I go, I'm just getting warmed up. He goes, holy shit. I'm like, yeah. So narcissists are little crybabies, and they didn't buy me the $600,000 pair of running shoes, the Michael Jordan one. Oh, I'm so abused. And you're like, wait, that's not abuse. So now I have heard people vehemently defend narcissists, saying, oh, Michael, you don't understand, they were severely abused as children. Well, as I started going through this journey, even meeting narcissists, talking to them, having some call me as clients, etc., like, they weren't abused at all. And in my own family, I mean, there was definitely golden children in my family. Like, these ones, they were favored, and yet they're the ones, no, I was so abused. Like, by mom? By who? What are you talking about? Like, what happened? In comparison, nothing. So I think I have the answer. Now here's what happens. So this is what this video is going to be about. Here's the interesting thing. Narcissists and avoidance are at two different opposite ends of the spectrum. One side is the dark side, the other side is the heavenly side, okay? But they're both at extremes, and that's an imbalance, period, end of sentence. So here's the deal. I'm going to give you some things that I Googled, and I'm going to read them straight out from Google, and you're like, wait a minute, that sounds exactly like the techniques that narcissists use. Yes, except there is a major difference. A narcissist is using these techniques purposely to attack you, like stabbing you with a knife, to purposely hurt you and damage you for life, whereas an avoidant is running away. It's like they're putting up a shield to protect themselves. So the intent, number one, is completely different and comes from two completely different perspectives, okay? And the experience, because the intent is different, the energy is different. With a narcissist, the energy is directed into you to damage you, whereas with an avoidant, it's like how to explain this? It's like the energy, instead of going towards you like an arrow, it's more like splaying out like a defensive shield to protect them while they run away. A narcissist goes after you, literally like a predator. An avoidant runs away like what's the animal called that's running away from the predator? Oh yeah, the prey. So the prey is running away. So the energy and the experience from these techniques is different because it's being done with a different angle, perspective, and intensity and intention. And that does make all the difference. But it still does hurt. And I will tell you something. If you've gone and dealt with narcissist abuse on a pretty intense level for 5 years, 10, 15, 20 years or longer, and then you've dealt with an avoidant, it doesn't hurt anything. It's like 50%. It still does hurt. It's very heartbreaking is what it is. It's just different because it's not a personal attack. It's heartbreaking. It's sad. It'll make you cry, and it'll feel like they ripped. Not like they ripped your guts out, but like your guts were like kind of like they were ripped out, but not like they ripped them out of you. I don't explain that. It still hurts. Now here's the thing: an avoidant, they do not want to hurt you. The last thing avoidant wants is to be responsible for hurting someone emotionally. That's something they do not want to do at all. On the left, the narcissist, let's say two different opposite sides of the scale, or there's another word for it I used, but on the far left side, they disconnect from their right brain, they disconnect from their heart and their emotions, and therefore, growing up that way, you don't have this, you never learn to have empathy. Not only you learn, but you don't understand because you're not learning like, oh, okay, look, I see their facial expression. Oh, when I said this, they reacted. Oh, that must have really hurt them. Oh, shit. Oh, they never develop that. They never learn that ability to feel other people's feelings. Where an avoidance on the other side, where they really feel emotions and feelings, but they have like a barrier around it. Now, they have their heart and emotions inside, but they put a barrier around it. So they open up a tiny little bit, and it's like it hurts them. So they close back up right away. So they very much can feel your feelings and emotions, and they very much understand, and that's their whole thing, like, hey, I just want to leave because I don't want anyone to get hurt. But here's the thing, it does hurt because you fall in love with them. It's an interesting thing because they're really, really good at, they're charming. It's like in the beginning, and now here's the thing, it is love bombing. In the beginning they love, but I think it's, the difference is this: a narcissist is using it as a tactical technique to get you, to hurt you. They know, oh, I'm going to hurt this person, I'm going to destroy. Whereas an avoidant, they want to feel love so bad. They crave it more than anyone on the planet, but then they run away from it. It's like they're afraid of it because they're afraid it's literally like, it feels like putting your hand on a hot stove. To them, that's what they're afraid they're going to get hurt. And yet, they want it. It's kind of like someone trying to lose weight. Like, the chocolate's bad for you and the donuts are bad for you, but you really want it, don't you? So you kind of go and sneak a couple, but then you're like, oh no, and you throw the rest of the bag away. Like, oh, I can't do that. And then a week later, you do it again. It's hard. It's a craving of wanting love, affection, and connection with someone. And if you're an empathic person or heart-based, emotional-based person, you can feel that love inside them. You can see it, and it's just like, wow, I just want to be in love with this person. It's there's something about their love. Their love is so intense, it's so pure, it's so beautiful, it's so wonderful. And yet, because they constantly pull away, that's what avoidant does, is like they'll just literally disappear. It's called radio silence. It's just like, boom, you have this great date. They tell all their friends about it. They tell you about it the next day. Oh, it was amazing. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you again. Poof, puff, I call it Puff the Magic Dragon. I can't remember the rest of the song, but puff, they're gone. Like magic, like poof, they disappear. The first time it happened, 2 days went by, I'm like, huh. It is the most confusing experience in the world. You're like, I don't understand, like, what happened, And then after 3 or 4 days, and then you send them 1 or 2 texts or whatever, and they don't respond. It's like, oh, well, guess we're not. Like, for me, I was like, after about 3 or 4 days, I was like, oh, I guess we're not talking. I am going to give you a tip right now. I'm going to interrupt this. Clarity is your superpower to avoiding narcissists and avoidance. Narcissists use confusion to keep attacking you, to keep coming around, to keep hurting you, to keep gaslighting you, to keep playing mind games, all that stuff. Whereas an avoidant, confusion ensues because they never give you clarity, because they don't want to get stuck in a relationship. They don't want to get trapped. In other words, a narcissist uses it to constantly be a predator to come after you. An avoidant, they don't use it. It's like confusion comes because they don't give you clarity, because they're basically running away. Does that make sense? So to an avoidant, if you're trying to pry in and get to know them, it's terrifying to them, because it's like, whoa, that's intimate. You're getting to know me. Oh, well, it's like, once they start feeling you pry into their world, they're going to run. And that's confusing. And you're like, I don't understand. And here's the thing. You go on 1 or 2 dates, 3 dates. Things are really heating up. Things are looking good. You're laughing. They're laughing. Everything's fun. And then all of a sudden they start pulling back. And you're like, wait, I don't understand. Like, it seemed like they had a really good time, like I did. Like, wait, was I wrong? And it's confusing, but here's the thing. They're not doing some tactic to confuse you. It's just that by constantly being afraid of getting intimate, they run away, and it hurts. So clarity is essentially, it's your superpower to avoiding narcissist and avoidance. So if you start experiencing confusion, like something's not making sense or I don't understand, another thing that'll happen, it happened with me, like I literally got to a point where like it was like they were hiding something, but I didn't know what, and I started to lose trust. I was like, I started not trusting this person. Not that they did anything wrong. There was no like red flag, like attacking me or doing something bad. But there was just this sense of like, I don't understand what's going on here. Like, like what's going on? Are we going to go into a relationship? Are we not? Are we just friends? Like, I didn't. And so I started getting to the point where like I started losing trust. So if you're feeling confusion, you're probably, unless you're a really, really emotionally grounded person, down to earth person, I would not continue the relationship. Because number one, if it's a narcissist, you're going to get hurt bad. If it's an avoidant, it's going to hurt bad, but in a different way. So to clear up, the question I had earlier in this video of, I wondered why people would defend narcissists and say, but you got to understand, they got abused really bad in childhood. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're the golden child. Like every book that's been written about them, every video, every narcissist will tell you, like, yeah, we're treated like little kings and queens and gods, like with a pillow, I don't know, like treatment basically. So here's what I think's going on. A lot of people, and I'm gonna those things I Googled, I'm gonna read them off, and you'll be like, wow, that's what narcissists do, and avoidants do it, but it's completely from the opposite side. In other words, they're not trying to hurt you, they're running, and so that will seem or be experienced as breadcrumbing. They hang out with you a little bit here, then boom, they're gone. And it is a form of breadcrumbing, but they're not doing it to hurt you or to set you up like narcissists is. They're doing it because they want to get close to you. They want to experience emotions, feelings, and love, and even hugging. But then when they do it, they're like, oh, it's too much, it's overwhelming, it's fearful, and then they run. So it seems similar to a narcissist. One of the biggest things that I've been hearing and reading and seeing on YouTube is a lot of people get avoidance mixed up with narcissists, and then they get a real bad social stigma, and people punish them and they're mean to them. The problem is avoidants are not evil people at all. They're very sensitive people that have been hurt a lot in their life, and then when you clump them in with narcissists, they're getting abused and treated like crap, and it's like you're abusing the wrong people. All right, I'm going to read these off. I've got them saved right here. All right, here we go. Okay, that's the wrong one. Sorry, here we go. All right, so number one. This is what I Googled. I said, do avoidants love bomb? It says, yes, avoidant individuals can, keyword can, engage in love bombing, though it might stem from different motivations. And this is what I've been saying. Than other attachment styles. While love bombing is often associated with narcissistic tendencies and anxious attachment styles, avoidants may use it as a tactic to initially secure a relationship or to manage their own anxieties around intimacy. Okay, let's read a little bit more here. It says, avoidance may initiate intense displays of affection and attention to quickly form a connection and secure a relationship, especially when they are feeling infatuated. Okay, love bombing can give them a sense of control over the relationship's pace and intensity, allowing them to set the initial tone before potentially withdrawing. So the difference is, yeah, they do want to be in control, and that is one thing you'll hear about avoidance. They can be very controlling. Everything has to be done by them. It has to be their decision, their way, because they're scared. Okay. Whereas a narcissist, it's a power trip. They want to dominate you. They want to control you. Whereas an avoidant is not trying to dominate you. They're not really trying to control you. They're trying to control the relationship, the experience of what's happening, what, when, where, how, and why, because they're terrified of being controlled, because their whole life they were controlled. Okay, let's go down this path just a little bit more. I think you're going to like this. Fear of intimacy. The intense attention can be a way to test the waters of intimacy without fully committing. If the other person reciprocates, it can be overwhelming, leading the avoidant to withdraw. So on the one hand, they do want intimacy, but then when you reciprocate it, it terrifies them because they feel, it's like, you know what, I should probably make a video explaining, but I think if you know about avoidance, essentially as children, they were not allowed to open up emotionally. They were not allowed to express their feelings, their emotion. They were told it was wrong. Be tough, be strong, close up. They're basically their whole life they were taught and told and punished, like, that's not allowed, that's not right, don't do that. And yet they crave it so much, and then they open up to you, but then you reciprocate. They're like, oh shit, because after that then comes the pain. Meaning a parent or an older sibling or people in their lives have essentially punished them for that. So in their nervous system, that's the way they're wired. They believe, well, here, I know what's coming next. Okay, now watch this. This is the next thing I'm going to read off of Google. We're still on love bombing. Okay. All right. So it says, suppressed emotions. Avoidants may have difficulty expressing their emotions in a healthy way. Love bombing might be a way to express intense feelings, even if it's not sustainable. Again, here's another difference between a narcissist and an avoidant. Narcissists don't actually feel any love for you at all. They are not expressing their emotions and intimacy and opening up emotionally at all. It is a strategy. It is a series of tactics and techniques, and they know it is because they're trying to get you to open up. Whereas with an avoidant, this is a way for them to open up and in a quick, fast, intense way express their emotions, express their feelings of happiness and joy and love, and they'll even hug you eventually, etc., etc., and then they get terrified and then they pull away and they close back up. None of this has anything to do with any intention of harming you or hurting you in any way. So it's like there should be love bombing A and then love bombing Z, because what they're doing comes from their heart in a good, positive way. Whereas the narcissist, it's not coming from a good way at all. Like, it's intentionally coming from, I'm going to hurt this person and destroy them. Do you see the difference? It's almost like this should have a different name. I mean, it's called love bombing. They're both called love bombing, but these are two completely different things that are happening, that are going on, and the intentions are radically completely different. So I could understand. See, here's the deal. Like, when you open up emotionally to someone and you have this great fun time, you feel this intense love and happiness and joy, and poof, they're gone. It hurts. But that is not their intention at all. Then what's happening is they're starting to feel this overwhelming fear and energy ping pong, and they spin and spin. It's confusing. It's terrifying. And it's like they're having a full-on emotional panic attack. That's exactly what's happening with them, and they just want to shut it down. It's too much for them. Okay, here's a way you can tell the difference between avoidant and narcissist. And a narcissist is inflicting pain. An avoidant is avoiding pain. So even though they do the same things, it's from the opposite perspective. That's the best way to say it. They're not trying to hurt you. They're trying to protect themselves. Now, okay, let me say this. Do they need to grow up? Yes. Do they need to heal? Absolutely. Do they need to learn healthier, better strategies and what's the word I want to use? Behaviors in a relationship, even in being a friend? Absolutely. They do need to learn this stuff, and they do need to heal emotionally. But again, it's from self-preservation, from self-protection. It's because they were abused severely as kids, and they were raised in kind of a really weird way. Okay, I like the way Google states this here. Essentially what I've been trying to say. I like the way they state it. So it says, so I Googled, do avoidance gaslight? It says, yes, individuals with avoidant attachment styles, particularly those with dismissive avoidant tendencies, can engage in behaviors that resemble or are considered gaslighting. Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation where someone makes you doubt your own thoughts and feelings or memories, often to gain control or avoid accountability. Now watch what it says now. First thing I want to point out is how Google clearly states that resemble or are considered gaslighting, because it's a different form. So it says, here's why and how avoidance might use such tactics. Avoidance of accountability. Severe avoidants often struggle with emotional intimacy and taking responsibility for their actions. Gaslighting can be a way for them to avoid accountability, which they may perceive as painful or threatening. Okay, again, it's severe avoidants often struggle with emotional intimacy, and so this is why they will get out of a relationship as fast as possible, because they don't want to be responsible for hurting someone. Whereas a narcissist, they don't want to let go of you. They want to hurt you. See the difference? All right, number 2. I like the way Google puts this. This is really in alignment with what I've been saying. Self-preservation. Number 2, self-preservation and fear of intimacy. To maintain emotional distance, avoidance might use behaviors that seem manipulative but are primarily aimed at self-preservation. When feeling pressured for emotional intimacy, they might dismiss or invalidate their partner's perspective to protect themselves from discomfort or confrontation. Okay, number 3, unintentional gaslighting. I mean, right off the bat, the title says unintentional gaslighting. Differences in how people remember events can lead to unintentional gaslighting. Again, it's unintentional. In avoidance, genuine memory might conflict with their partners, causing confusion and self-doubt. Number 4, examples of avoidant behaviors that can feel like gaslighting. Minimizing emotions, downplaying or dismissing their partner's feelings by saying things like, you're overreacting. Again, very similar, but they're doing it because they're trying to keep the emotions down, because they're afraid, they don't want things to get out of control. Where a narcissist is purposely saying that to play mind games with you, to confuse your brain. Because a narcissist knows if they can confuse you, they can control you. And avoidant is not trying to do that. They're trying to do the opposite. They want to get out of it because they don't want to be controlled themselves. Alright, let's go on to the next one in the same step. This is step 4, examples of avoidant behaviors that can feel like gaslighting. So the second point is denying facts, insisting something didn't happen or happened differently than their partner remembers. Okay. Point number 3, withdrawing, emotionally or physically distancing themselves when a relationship feels too intense. They're trying to avoid the intensity. Whereas a narcissist, they do it because they know they ghost you because they know that it hurts you. Okay, they're doing it purposely to hurt you. The other thing that narcissists will do is they'll withdraw because they're kind of bored with messing with you. You're too easy to F with. They're looking for a bigger challenge, and they're going to put you up on the shelf. And they'll come back to you when the other people leave them. Then they'll start, getting source energy from you, etc., until they find someone else. So it's a completely different perspective. So the final point in this one is changing the subject, deflecting or avoiding emotionally charged conversations. They're not doing it to avoid the conversation. They're doing it because the emotions are getting too high. It's too intimate. It's too personal. They're trying to keep it light. They're trying to keep it like on a light, fun level. Because again, avoidance' biggest fear is intimacy. They're really trying. Let me just finish this. They're really trying to avoid intimacy because intimacy to them equals pain. It's like getting their hand burned on the stove. It's like they run from. It's like, on the one hand, they want it. It's like kind of like a flame, right? A fire, right? You go towards it because you as a little kid, like, wow, what is that? Or like a moth, right? Moth to a flame. But then when it burns, they run away. To them, that's how intimacy is. Okay, so then I Googled do avoidance push and pull method. And it does say yes. It says yes, avoidant attachment styles can manifest in a push-pull dynamic within relationships. Individuals with avoidant attachment often struggle, again, this is different than a narcissist, often struggle with intimacy and may unconsciously push away from their partners who get too close. This can be seen as a push-pull dynamic, where the avoidant partner pulls their partner closer at times and then pushes them away, often due to feeling overwhelmed by intimacy or fear of vulnerability. Now, I absolutely experienced this in this relationship with an avoidant, and I was like, this was the one that made me go, wait, is this person a narcissist? Like, I really was like, whoa, wait a minute. I mean, this really threw me for a loop. I'm like, okay, this is the push-pull method. I know exactly what this is. This is a messed up thing. But there was something different, and it was that it's like the energy was different. They weren't playing with my mind. It was like they would pull away, and then they would come back, and then they would open up, playful and fun, then boom, they disappear, they're gone, and I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. But again, the difference is it's because the moth to the flame, they love the flame, but they get really curious, but then when they get burned, they run away. And again, when I mean burned, I don't mean that you did anything to them. It's just that for them opening up emotion, it's literally, I'm telling you, it's like they have this beautiful spiritual light, this love inside them, but they have this big iron thick, like 3 to 4 inches thick iron thing, like a can around them, and they protect that love. So when they open up, they become sensitive, and they feel like they're about to get hurt really bad, so they close back up. And that's another part of what seems to be the push-pull method or technique, is 1 minute or 1 day, they're just open, they're laughing, and it's just a blast, and you're having fun, and you're just talking freely and openly. Keyword, freely and openly, open. And when they catch on to that, boom, they close up and they're cold, and there's no emotions and feelings, and you're just like, whoa, like literally even their face changes. And that freaked me out because I was like, what the hell is this? Is this the mask? And that's when I was like, whoa, is this person a narcissist? Because their face becomes non-emotional. They become almost pissed. So it's night and day. I mean, maybe it's not pissed, but it's just almost like a guard, like a defense shield. So essentially what they're doing is they're protecting their emotions because they're afraid they're going to get hurt. Okay, I'm going to read just this one definition under this title here about yes, avoidant attachment styles can manifest in a push-pull dynamic. So it says avoidant attachment. People with avoidant attachment styles tend to avoid emotional intimacy and closeness in relationships. They may have difficulty expressing their feelings, fear vulnerability, and seek distance when relationships become too intense. One thing I would like to caution you on, and I don't want to say warn you, it's not really a warning, but it really is. What happens is you have such a good time with them and you become close to them really fast, and then they pull away, and that hurts, and you think, oh, they're just messing with it. They're hurting me on purpose, and you question and you doubt. No, I'm telling you, they're not doing it to hurt you. You can tell that if you can read energy or feel energy even a little bit, or people's emotions, you're going to be like, no, they're scared. So I caution you, don't get mad at them, don't attack them, don't yell at them, don't say, oh, you did this, raw. This is what I said before. It is a painful experience being with an avoidant. They're not doing it on purpose, they're scared. Okay, let's go to the next one. So the next one I googled was, do avoidants move the goalposts? It says yes, individuals with avoidant attachment styles may exhibit a tendency to move the goalpost in relationships. Again, this is different than a narcissist. A narcissist is trying to control you, to play mind games, to gaslight you. But here's the difference. So which can manifest as shifting expectation, changing plans, or escalating demands when feeling overwhelmed or insecure. This behavior is often rooted in a subconscious fear of intimacy or potential abandonment. So I remember I had plans with this avoidant. At this point, I realized they were avoidant. I was just beginning my journey into like what's an avoidant, So I didn't really understand what was going on, and so they literally just suddenly the plans were dropped, like out of the clear blue sky. And I was like, "Whoa, what's going on here? We had such a great time, like the last time we were together. I just assumed it was going to go through because we had so much fun. It hurt." Again, it's because they're afraid they're going to lose control. They're afraid they're going to open up and they're going to get hurt and all that stuff. They're not doing it to hurt you. They're doing it to protect themselves. And yes, I will agree with you they need to grow up. They need to learn. They need to develop. But it's so easy to say, oh, you need to grow up. It is so hard. I know I'm in the healing department work. That's what I do for a living. Personal development, life coaching, energy healing, emotional healing, psychology, therapy. I myself have been through decades of therapy, and it's not that easy just to radically go, oh, okay, well, I'm just not going to be this way anymore. It's like it is hard. Okay, so I am going to skip down a little bit here to self-sabotaging behavior. This can also be a form of self-sabotaging behavior where avoidants create distance and instability in the relationship to avoid the perceived discomfort and vulnerability of intimacy. So one of the challenges that avoidants have is they have a hard time having relationships, like a really hard time, because they're constantly getting out of relationships. All right, let's start wrapping this up. So here's the last one, okay? I googled, do avoidance fault find? Because I noticed on the first couple of dates, probably second and third date, it was like I literally at one point looked at this person. I didn't say it, but I was like, man, are they looking for a reason to find something wrong or bad with me? I'm like, if they don't like me, why go out with me? It was a really weird thing, but I had a gut feeling like, oh, they're doing this because they're going to need a reason to pull away, to do the avoidant, ghosting and leaving and getting out, okay? Because it was like I could say no, nothing right, nothing was right, nothing I said was right, nothing I did was right. It was like there was always this sense of, well, I wouldn't do that, and I don't think that's right, and even at one point purposely misunderstanding, and I don't think it was a conscious thing, it was an unconscious pattern of processing communication. Because look, they're looking almost immediately, maybe not the first date or second date, but they're very early on, they're going to start looking for reasons of what's wrong with you and why they don't like you. And this is why I got out of the relationship, because their friends are going to be like, well, what happened now? What happened this time? And their coworkers, etc., or even just to tell you. It's like they're fault finding. Again, A narcissist is not doing it to find a reason to leave you. They're doing it to find a reason to control you, to say, you're bad, I'm good, follow my rules, do as I say, because you're the bad one, you know? Whereas an avoidant is sitting there going, shit, I'm starting to get close to this person. This is like our third or fourth date. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. What if I fall in love? Oh my God, I'm afraid of getting close emotionally and intimately. I need to start finding reasons to get out. Even if they don't give a shit what their friends, family, and coworkers think, or even you, it might be just for themselves going, okay, I'm starting to feel we're starting to get close, intimacy is coming, I need to find a way to get out. And this could be just for their own justification. Alright, so here's what Google says. Okay, I googled, do avoidance fault find. Now listen to what it says right off the bat, the AI overview. Yes, avoidance individuals are prone to fault finding, particularly when they feel vulnerable or threatened in a relationship. Now, when it says threatened, it doesn't mean like physically, but it means like, are you opening up emotionally to them and getting intimate? And they're like, oh shit. Now, intimate doesn't necessarily mean sex. It literally, like I'm pointing to my heart right now, it just means opening up emotionally. That's intimacy. And yes, to an avoidant, that feels like a threat. Alright, now look at the very first definition. It says, here's more detailed explanation under this. Do avoidance find fault? First thing, coping mechanism. Avoidant individuals often engage in fault finding to create emotional distance and manage their fear of intimacy. So here's what I want you to imagine. Imagine you are a stick figure on the left side of the page and they're a stick figure on the right side of the page. You have an arrow that goes towards them, and avoidant has an arrow that's going away from them, away from you. So your arrow goes towards them, their arrow goes in the same direction away. So both your arrows are pointing to the right. So you're chasing them and they're running away. So when you try to get close to an avoidant, they're trying to create more space. You get close, they step away to create more space. Now here's the interesting thing you can do. You know how I keep talking about my internal awareness techniques, emotional grounding techniques? When you learn how to drop your awareness inside you, instantly that creates that emotional space or distance that an avoidant wants and needs in a relationship. Now here's the interesting thing. If you do it right, they will willingly come to you without you having to do anything. If you chase them even a little bit, game over. Now here's the deal. If you're a guy, this is how women in general work. If you can create this emotional grounding space around you and you don't lean forward, a lot of men will lean forward, lock on with their eyes, that's going to make a woman run. So my course, Crack the Female Code, teaches you how to develop this. Now it's going to take practice. It's going to take time. Do not think like, oh, we did it for 1 hour one day. No, it's going to take time. Now here's the interesting thing. This is the very thing that an avoidant needs to experience when they're with someone. Now here's the deal. I didn't know what avoidant was. So it's like kind of like I threw everything out the window. I really did, and because things were going, because this is what they do. They love bombing you. They all this emotions and feelings, and it's amazing, and you're having so much fun, and then boom, they're gone. Like, whoa, what happened? I instantly knew, like, wait, what happened to you? I got caught up in their energy, which for me is a very, very rare thing. And I was like, oh man, it's like I didn't know what I was dealing with. I was having so much fun. I thought, oh, this is awesome. It was like the brakes weren't on and we were just going for it. And I got caught up in the speed and in the energy, and I lost being grounded. In other words, I totally admit I blew it. Now here's the interesting thing about avoidance. It's not that they necessarily want physical space, they want emotional space. And that's what my grounding techniques and the grounding course teaches you how to do. And I didn't know what an avoidant was, and I didn't realize this till after I had this experience. Like, oh, because they say, well, I need my space. Oh, I heard that so many times. I was like, oh, okay, so it's kind of like I thought they meant physically they need to be away from me, blah, blah, blah. What they really mean is like, see, here's the interesting thing. When you create this bubble of space, they'll come into it like, oh, wow, this is lots of emotional space in here. It makes people feel very, very comfortable. And here's the funny thing. It's the whole reason why she was attracted to me in the beginning. Lesson learned, never to be forgotten. Okay, so let's wrap this up. We did coping mechanisms, vulnerability trigger. Again, this is on Do Avoidance Fault Find. It says when an avoidant feels vulnerable or their feelings are triggered, they may start scrutinizing their partner's behavior for flaws, again, to pull away. Justification for withdrawals, these perceived flaws become a justification for pulling away, again, avoiding accountability and ultimately ending the relationship without addressing their own fears. So it says it right there. It's like they don't want to address their own fears and be like, hey, here's really what's going on. It's like, no, I have reasons and here's why I'm pulling away from you. Like, good luck and bye-bye. Okay, we're almost done here. So this one is interesting. Different from devaluation. Again, this is do avoidance find fault. So again, it's different. This is the subtitle, different from devaluation, because that's what narcissists do. So this is different. While fault finding in avoidance may resemble narcissistic devaluation, the underlying intent is different. Avoidance focuses on perceived flaws to create distance, whereas narcissists may use devaluation to manipulate and control and harm, etc., etc. It's a complete difference. The very last one, very short, shame and fear. Avoidant attachment styles are often rooted in shame and fear of intimacy, leading to this pattern of behavior. So a lot of you have felt intense levels of shame where you just wanted to hide from the world. That, in a nutshell, is what an avoidant is going through, and that's why they use these tactics and techniques, is because they're so ashamed and they have so much fear of getting hurt emotionally, etc., that they're trying to pull away from anyone and anything that opens up to them emotionally, intimately, etc. Okay, guys and girls, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please click subscribe, click that bell, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment, and as always, you can leave a donation. There's a PayPal link right there in the description box. That's it. I'm a professionally trained life coach. I specialize in emotional healing and also communication between men and women. I'm also an energy healer certified in Reiki, Huna, and Pranic healing. I've been doing it for 30 years, as well as NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, Ericksonian hypnosis, which is I would say the most healing therapeutic hypnosis on the planet. In fact, that's all it's for. And master practitioner in timeline therapy, and a few other things in communication, linguistics, etc. Alright guys, God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.